let's be real, all the NXT OG women most likely watched Saraya. Saraya, formerly known as Paige in the WWE, was released from the WWE a few months back, and Triple H reportedly was surprised that Vince just let her go, especially now given more context with everything going on, and considering Saraya was in a position at that point where she wasn't really doing the best because the WWE's declaration of war on third parties, the fact that she was forced to retire due to injury, and she has to continuously have to come out every single time saying it wasn't Sasha's fault, it's not her fault, she didn't deliberately do that, it was just a freak accident, despite everyone freaking out and still saying it's Sasha's fault, and even Sasha has repeatedly regretted what happened and clearly always cries about it, judging by Saraya's statement of what she came out with recently. But she went all elite back in September for Grand Slam. Oof. But we did know what her fate lied regarding her medical status. Oh. So, yeah, Saraya was currently an enigma. She did appear to get physical on several occasions, but she wasn't really taking that much bumps. If she was taking bumps, then we would have had confirmation she wasn't cleared. She was cleared or not. But so far, she's just been in that Stone Cold type position where Stone Cold was forced to retire due to medical issues with his neck, and he just would, at best, take minor bumps, but like, he mostly just gave offense off and would serve in non wrestling roles. So that was all we had. I've been hoping Saraya signing would also be like, we can get this investment, we can get the women more involved in this, we can starting to get things going for the women. We have Toni Storm as the champion, Jamie Hayter is currently getting over, Thunder Rosa's still injured, and she might be stripped of the title soon because she hasn't been able to make a full commitment when she could come back. Even Tony Khan's starting to come to the conclusion he might have to strip her of the title, and thus make Hayter or Toni Storm the champ. Jamie Hayter, we know. So, yeah. And people were getting very annoyed with Dr. Britt Baker because she was being treated like she was Charlotte Flair for many people. I mean, she's doing what Charlotte didn't do, which was do programs that did not involve titles in terms of her winning it. Like, okay, yeah, she kept feuding over the women's title, but she did have matches that didn't involve the women's title and actually progressed her character, so I'll give her credit on that front. At least they say, well, if she's not doing the title, we'll just give her something else to do. And then Saraya came back and gave this big, passionate promo with Britt Baker. They tore it down, and Saraya declared and announced that she had been cleared by the doctors. She had to prove it. She had a note from the doctors to confirm that she is 100% cleared, because, of course, people would say it's a lie because it's AEW or something. I'm like, if there was no confirmation whatsoever if she was cleared or not, that would be a different matter. Heck, although we've seen Sting back in the ring since he went all elite, we had to wait until the cinematic match to get confirmation that he was officially cleared by the doctors and outside doctors, despite the fact that he was starting to take bumps in the ring again, including getting a powerbomb on his back where he had suffered his injury from Seth Rollins all those years ago. So when Saraya had announced that she had been cleared, she said in an interview recently, right before Full Gear, that the first person she contacted was Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks, because currently her ties with WWE is murky at best, cut off at worst. Where she said, "You don't have to cry anymore. I'm cleared again. You can stop crying about this now." Not in terms of like she was complaining and whatnot, how she felt the immense guilt and pain of, and especially possibly the harassment she got, because she's the one who ended Paige's career. Although I still maintain the fact that WWE was kind of callous how they handled it, where they knew she was not cleared, she couldn't be cleared at the time, where her career was absolutely done, and WWE kind of held didn't want to dip into that pool yet until after WrestleMania, and then had her forcibly on commentary, in my opinion, go on commentary before the Women's Battle Royale, where she said maybe next year, and I was like, Vince, you just can't let this go, can you? Like, you're trying to now give the fans and Saraya a false idealism of hope, thinking she would be clear just like that within a year, when something like this takes multiple years to even get cleared, to even get a chance to get in a stable position, not much less cleared. It just makes this so callous. Like, even Paige looked uncomfortable, like having to say that, even though she knew the next night after Mania, I'm retiring. So, yeah. So once again, Vince McMahon, everybody, the patron, the saint of wrestling, isn't he? So after all that, we jump forward a few years. Saraya goes all elite after a series of ups and downs, and signs with them. And it looks like she gets cleared. Britt Baker versus Saraya. Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. versus the anti-diva, the queen, Saraya. And oh man. Now, we obviously had our concerns heading into this match, specifically because of her neck. We don't know the status of her neck. We don't know what went on in those meetings with the doctors. They could have cleared her, but they told her not to do certain stuff. Like, that could have been a possibility. And they certainly gave us a scare in this match when it looked like Saraya was hurt again, only for her to get back up and smile. And I was like, oh, they're doing this style. They're going the Triple H Shawn Michaels route, where they did the same thing. Triple H is the evil villain, and Shawn Michaels is the old outlaw coming back to claim to come out of retirement, finally finish off his Wild West story. And they kept deliberately hitting the area where the career ended at. Like, I get it. I get why. I just will never like it. It just makes it uncomfortable. Especially when it's even wrestlers who just recently come back from surgery, only to be like, okay, so can you keep you heel. I know you're a heel, so be a heel and beat the living hell out of this guy by targeting his recently surgically repaired area, because that definitely will not ruin the recovery process, right? Right? Like Alberto, you know who, did this with Cena, and I was still against it back then, even though my dislike of Cena was extensive at that time. Even though I didn't like him, I didn't think he should get viciously hurt and wounded, because I may not like a wrestler, but I'm not going to be a monster about it. But yeah, so Britt Baker and Saraya. If you took out the mat part if you took out the scare moment where it looked like she was legit hurt, or, you know, what you did with Brock Lesnar and Bryan Danielson and made it look like it was about to be a glorified execution live on TV because Bryan didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia after what happened, I'm still on that opinion. Vince was really closing in thinking about doing that. But anyways, that's my opinion, not a fact. I just have infers and the past evidence saying Vince is a petty man. Saraya and Britt Baker, for the most part, did pretty damn well. Saraya looked like she hadn't lost a step. Like, there was a couple moments, but there was no mistakes made in the match that I noticed. There was no big botches. There was nothing. They played it pretty safe with their style. Well, as much as one can be when one is out of action for several years. And Britt Baker has, for many people, stagnated in some level of position. Heck, she's even quote the unofficial dentist of AEW, to the point that she even joked that she might try and get extended on, get her when the contract comes up. She'll argue that, look, I'm clearly the dentist of AEW. Everyone keeps calling me to do their work backstage in the medical room. So can I get a raise and better positioning? So that's probably gonna happen. So yeah, Saraya and Britt Baker, they did pretty good. They did pretty good. Saraya still looked great that she was back then. In fact, some people point out she seemed actually more smoother than ever in the ring. Really, I don't know. Though I think it's because she's still pretty young. Like, she started wrestling at a young age, so it makes sense that she would be... Let's double check on her age currently. Going to the Wikipedia site. She's currently 30 years old. Yeah. Don't you feel old yet? Born in 1992. She's been wrestling since what? Since her family was a dynasty, she would what? Wrestle since the age of 13. She's not. She is still in the later years of her prime years, so she can still go. So of course she's probably still smooth. She's probably more smoother in the ring because not only is this her return match, but also the fact that she's still pretty young in the wrestling ring. So that's saying a lot. How Saraya still has a chance to finally cement her legacy among the wrestling dynasty she's part of, and it's fun. It's really fun to see Saraya at this position in her career to finally get another shot once more, and it's good to see that. It's really nice to see Saraya come out of retirement to do her run and get another chance at getting a run in the wrestling industry. And she even made Bryan Danielson and Edge, gave her hope that she could get back, which certainly did happen. I'm pretty sure Sting helped too, but it was mostly Edge and Bryan in her eyes that made her realize if they can get cleared, I can get cleared. I can get back in there. So, yeah. Right now, Saraya had defeated Britt Baker clean. Like, Britt Baker even said she didn't want to have any interference involved in this match. She wanted to do this fair and square for once. And sure enough, they tore it down. It was a pretty damn good match. There was no big mistakes made in this match for when I was watching it. Saraya, I welcome you back to the wrestling game. I can't wait to see what you do next. Britt Baker, however, her night wasn't done just yet. We'll probably get into that a little bit later, but her night wasn't done just yet. She still had to back up her buddy Jamie Hayter, but we'll get to that when we can. Right now I'm trying to catch up on New Japan Pro Wrestling to finally get some New Japan content back on, with specifically the historic X-Over event. 2 matches specifically, the US title and the main event. Yay. So yeah. Saraya, welcome back to pro wrestling. Let's get your second win on this run. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun while. Oh man, I hope with her around now in active competition, with the fact that AEW had 3 women matches for a pay-per-view, this is a starting point. This is, especially since for them that's pretty much a sign saying this is unprecedented for them, at least. I'm hoping that with the fact that they can now tell that this match proved alone, you don't need you don't need titles to tell this story. So I'm hoping we get more non-championship storylines with this instead of Nyla Rose stealing the title or Britt Baker trying to become women's champion for the 800th time. She only won it once and lost it once. So I'll give her credit that they didn't play hot potato with her like they did with Charlotte and Sasha. But yeah, there were people that were watching this clearly. Like Bayley posted a picture of her early days in NXT fighting Paige. Saraya, she's now known by her real name. And yeah, it's good, and I definitely do think a lot of the older NXT OG women watched this match because this was their cornerstone. This was their pulse. This was the one that was telling people, yeah, a woman could get in that ring and wrestle. So, yeah. Round of applause, everyone. Round of applause. So, this is Neo Reality Entertainment, the WrestleVerse NRE, the WrestleVerse This was my video about Saraya versus Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out the content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all again next time. Peace and take care. And keep on wrestling. Peace.